You're welcome. Hey, setting up your meeting.
We are live right now.
Yes, it is. Well, thank you very much, you crazy hun. I really appreciate it. All right, welcome to Black Lion's Domain, ladies and gentlemen. This is the interview segment of Black Lion's Airspace. I am your host, Zachary Shiloh, or Zachary Shiloh Watson, depending on the preference. Today's guest has been a long time in the making. I tried to get her on Wednesday, kids, but because of things going on, I couldn't do so. But it's all right, because eventually things would realign, as we all say in the law of attraction work. Well, she is a businesswoman. She's Bob Proctor's top student, in my point of view. She has been recommended to me by one Kim Pierre. Hello, Kim, if you're watching this or listening, I truly appreciate it. She is a mother as well, and much, much more. With that said, hello, Sheena Kantar, my beloved from the United Kingdom. How are you today?
I'm doing very well, Zachary. How are you?
Oh, I'm ecstatic as I can be, especially knowing that you're here and I'm looking over our format. So, Kenny Pierre, the beloved 2 times best-selling author, who actually has been your biggest fan. She kept on telling me about you. She said, "Oh, Zach, you should actually listen to Sheena. She's absolutely great. She's my mentor. I've been part of her program on and off for months on end. Why don't you just give her a try?" I said, "Okay, why not, Kim? I love you wholly. I respect your opinion. So I will go along with it." So, my dear, please give my listeners your background.
Well, you know how long I've got? I'm 52, so we could go on for a wee while. As clearly
Ooh.
people can hear from my accent, I'm from Northern Ireland. So I've been in corporate, and I left corporate probably about 5 years ago to run my own business as a Gallup certified strengths consultant. And yeah, you do what everybody else does. You get qualifications because you think you're going to be successful with your qualifications. You work really hard because you think working hard is going to make you successful. And then you lose everything at the age of 48 and you just go, hang on a minute, what's going on here? And so that's what brought me to really understand what it is that gets results, that it takes in a person to get results. And it's not just hard work. There is some work involved, obviously, but I just thought, I was listening to so many different gurus about what to do and reading so many different books. I did all these qualifications, studied to master's level, and still didn't have the results. So what was going on? And then I just thought, right, I'm going to go to the guy who knows, who's been doing this for more than 60 years. And that's Bob Proctor, world leader in human potential. And I just thought, if he doesn't know, then there's no hope for me. So I decided to jump in and work with Bob. So I've been with him for the last few years.
Oh, wow. I love that story. I actually have been associated with Bob to some degrees or another. I never really had him on. I actually met him by way of one Sonia Riccati. He was actually a part of her documentary called Unsinkable.
Mm.
So for all of you out there that are foreign to me, I actually was a type 2 diabetic. I actually was overweight. I did not have a life of my own. I was losing my life. So the laws of attraction started to come around, I would say exactly a year, no, 2 years and a day ago. So I lost my ex and I was on the journey to recover. And I wanted to just get my soulmate or whatever. Then months later, Sonia Riccati comes on. Bob Proctor's there. And I said, this guy, he's absolutely great. And he's telling people bluntly, like what he's doing. Not only that, but everything that he's amassed. I said, okay, Bob, I'm listening to you. So it's getting stronger. I'm listening more and more, and I'm just becoming more enthralled in these universal laws. And I never thought in my wildest dreams, when I actually started doing it, that I would actually meet the likes of you, Kimmy Pierre, uh, so many others that have blessed me in this interview segment. And it still awes me to this day that there are universal laws that are not quote unquote in the holy texts, but they govern everything. And people like you, like Kimmy, like Bob Proctor, like Sonia Riccati, Les Brown, who else? I think Marianne Williamson. Who else? Who else? Big in the law of attraction world. Mary Morrissey, my beloved mentor, my beloved mentor, all have attributed some form of fashion that it's gone your way. But you all not only gone your way, but you came from nothing. Like Bob Proctor's story is absolutely amazing in itself, that here was this guy who was making a living off of cleaning offices. And then all of a sudden he gets this book by, what's that book that he always
Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich.
Thank you, love. Thank you. It always kind of farts in my head on and off, but I actually followed the 13 principles of that book. Oh man, oh man. And he has actually used and reused it timed again. I hear, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that he actually uses that thing before he talks. Not only
Oh yeah, so all his work is based on it. So I mean, basically that comes from, Andrew Carnegie started this, started Napoleon Hill out on his journey. And then and interestingly about that, for anybody who's listening, whenever you get offered an opportunity and you don't take it straight away, that the universe is off to somebody else who's going to take that opportunity. And so it's like Napoleon Hill, whenever Andrew Carnegie asked him, would he do this? Would he go and interview people across the world? He had 60 seconds in which to make his decision. Otherwise, he was taking the offer away. And Napoleon Hill made it in 29 seconds. And so then Earl Nightingale took that book and really, he worked on it. And he was the first personal development industry. And then Bob Proctor worked directly with Earl Nightingale. And then that's where I've come in to work directly with Bob Proctor. So this information is a lineage that is 150 years old, but really, as you say, it comes from the good book. And really the universal laws are in the good book, but it's just not called universal laws. It's just discussed in a different way. It's discussed in parables.
That's absolutely correct. And that still boggles my mind years later, that there are these things that govern things that are way more than what we see. Mm-hmm. And Bob Proctor always talks about the 13 principles of Napoleon Hill. And I actually looked them up. I have been using them to some degrees or another without even knowing that they existed. And how did you actually get into like the general law of attraction? Because it really does tie into Bob's work to some degrees or another. So how did you come across it?
Well, years ago, about 10 years ago, I used to take my horses to shows, and they would get really upset, and agitated. And I thought, this is supposed to be fun. So I had a girl do Reiki on them. And so when I learned how to do Reiki and calm down the horses, then I was able to heal my dog and heal my cat. And I practiced on people, but my daughter, there's only people tend to lie about things. It's great with animals because you see the results with animals. And I thought, I'm nothing special here. So what is behind this? This isn't a gift. This is energy. So I started to study the science behind it all. And so quantum physics, quantum mechanics, etc., etc. And then that's where you understand. I mean, law of attraction is people think that, oh, I don't believe in the law of attraction. And just like you really, like, you don't need to believe in it or not. It really doesn't matter because it's happening every single breath you take. You are attracting something. And basically that's based on the law of vibration. And so that's where it was really all that study of the science behind everything, the science behind results that makes you say, oh my goodness, this is real. This isn't woo-woo, this is actual science. And then you start to practice it and experience it. And you've got to keep practicing it. Do you see, most people try to just get the knowledge, but that's not practicing at all. It's about the experience of it. And the way Bob works and the way we work is to help you experience that through 12 lessons. And interestingly, what you said about the 13 principles, yes, everybody's doing them every day. But when I first picked up that book and I looked at them and I went, I'm no good at this, I'm no good at this, I'm no good at this, I'm no good at this. But when I studied with Bob and came out the other side and I looked and I went, I was already doing this. I was already doing this. I was already doing this. It's just I wasn't aware. And I was pointing it in a negative direction instead of in a positive direction. So that's all it was. Nobody needs to be better. Nobody needs to be personally developed. We just need to drop the crappy story. And when you drop the crappy story, you drop your burden and you become lighter and you start to see things and become aware that you already are totally amazing. And there's nothing wrong with you.
I agree wholly. When I found out about all of this, it just boggles me. And I keep on repeating myself, but it's the truth. Like, how we all apply this in our own rights, people should be aware of it. I keep on saying this time and again that we don't need no donkeys, elephants, and royals. We don't need no politicians. We just need each other. If we could actually come to an agreement of how to treat each other and whatnot, we'd be COPA. And I think one way would be going through the universal laws that govern everything. Once we have a broad understanding of them, miracles will happen even better. They've already been happening. They do happen. But if we truly can like put our egos aside, the world would be a better place.
Well, it's like people think the laws of the universe, oh my goodness, they must be special. But actually, what it means is just understanding them and respecting them, like you respect the law of gravity. And if you don't respect the law of polarity, then you're going to get thrown about. If you don't respect the law of rhythm, then you're going to be up and down, and it's really understanding that it's about just understanding the laws and respecting them. And then you can handle your emotional body so much easier when you respect the laws.
Oh yeah, and I've learned about that on my own. Like, we are energy beings, legit. When I first heard that phrasing from Bob and Mary Morrissey, excuse me, that they are around each other so much, I feel like they're a married couple. It's ridiculous. All right, so I remember hearing that phrase for the first time, and I said, really? We're energy beings. And then I meditated on it. And whenever I'm in meditation, it feels like I'm not a physical being. It feels like I'm more so energy. And then
But science backs that up. I mean, they looked into our cells, and in the cells they saw atoms, and they thought that was it. They thought atoms were the building blocks of life. But then whenever you look into an atom, it's just light. It's just energy. And that's the thing, is that if you think that you evolved from a monkey, then you're worth about, and you're just matter, then you're worth about $37. And if you realize that your energy itself, I mean, 30 years ago, this was calculated, you're worth 85 billion. Today's that would be 245 billion. But do you treat yourself like you're 245 billion, like you're a billionaire? Do you treat yourself like $37? Because that makes a huge, huge impact on how you step out of your room every morning.
oh God, that's absolutely true, love. I actually started to treat myself better as a general human being after I left my ex. I said, okay, let me dress a little bit better. Let me actually think a little bit better. And then all of a sudden, opportunities started coming left and the right. Like this podcast that you're on right now, it was, I guess, over 6 months old when I actually started doing interviews. Now, here I am nearly 2 years later doing interviews still with the likes of you, Kimmy Pierre, and much, much more who have amassed things that only people would imagine. They would not even think that they could actually do it at all. Like, as I sit here right now, love, believe it or not, and I don't know if you really know this, I'm on the road to becoming a 7 times best-selling author on Amazon.
Super. Awesome.
And this podcast is getting ready to turn, I believe, 3 years old in June. The things that I have done since then, I sometimes have to pinch myself to say that it really happened. Like, I'm getting ready to tie with one of the greatest self-help teachers in the world, named Marianne Williamson. Marianne has 13 books released. Out of those 13, she has 7 bestsellers. And when I thought of that stat, I was working on a book called Rebel Romance, which is slated for release on January 21st. When I was thinking of that, I said, oh God, this has really happened to me. I am getting ready to tie with one of the greatest self-help teachers in the world. It still boggles my mind that my greatest influence, my mentor, my friend named Blair Hayes, she's already had 7. I believe that maybe the first book that I actually did with her maybe was her 7th. But either which way, I said, wow, I've come a long way in a short amount of time. My first book was out February this year. And since then, I've had about 6 going into next year. The 6th book that I'm actually in, which has my 5th actual writing overall. The date is January 16th. When I realized what that date was, I literally almost crashed on my knees and cried. I said, what? The legit Black Lions Roar 5 is coming out practically a month before Their Magic turns 1 year old. Wow, that's myself.
It's important to recognize where we've come rather than continually going forward, because as soon as we get somewhere, we know we can have more. And that's when people look at self-worth and go, oh, I'm not good enough, because they're not where they want to be, because you're never where you want to be, because as soon as you get there, you want more, because the universe opened up and expanded. So this self-worth thing that people think that they're not good enough, it's only because they didn't look back and just go, oh my goodness, look at all the things I've done. I am where I wanted to be, and I didn't even know that. So that's the thing about, as soon as you step forward, you've expanded. So of course you could have done better. Of course you could, but you didn't know that until you stepped forward.
Of course.
You just keep getting better and better.
I always step forward. My partner in this thing I call Fear That Loves Roar, her name is Mayoko Fukino Mayhill. She was my last guest in this wonderful segment that you're in now. She's always in awe of me. She would say something along the lines of, oh, how did you do that? How did you amass this? I said, Mayoko, I actually just listened to Blair. I listened to Blair Hayes, our dear friend. I applied myself. I always move forward. That's what makes me successful. When I want something, I go after it. I didn't know I wanted 7 bestsellerships. All I wanted to do was just write and be happy. But then all of a sudden, I did sit back and I said, oh, wow, this is absolutely great. And then the opportunities that came out of that has been amazing. You're blossoming right now. Kimmy Pierre blossomed me before. and many, many others. I never thought when the Black Lions domain was birthed that I would actually be talking to bestsellers, business women or men and others. All I thought was that originally it was going to be an archive of my loved ones. That was it. But then once Blair Hayes showed up, it was like one after another bestseller, business people, and much, much more. And the day that Bob Proctor, if he truly ever blesses me with an appearance, I will take off my glasses and I'd probably be crying. I would be in awe because that would be like a very high pinnacle for me if Bob Proctor ever showed up on, or anybody that's been in his circle that's not you or Kim Pierre. Major honor. But for me, whoever I've had, and I'm putting my glasses back on if people are not actually watching, that's coping for me. I am enjoying my legacy, whoever has blessed me. But those types, the Bobs, the Mary Morrisseys, the Sonia Riccottis, the Les Browns, and much more, if they ever even gave me like 10 minutes to sniff their hair, thank you very much. All right, love. Before we really go into other things, thank you again for coming on. I truly appreciate it. And it was absolutely fun, kids, that we were talking back and forth. She was asking me earlier, is it too early for you? I said, no, it's not too early for me. I'm already an early riser. So when you're listening to this, it is 6:25 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I was already up like about a few hours when we talked, or Smidge. She was concerned, and that is rightfully so. And one David Vine, if he's watching this, I know he was asking me earlier, do you sleep? Yes, I do. I sleep. I'm just an early riser. I get this from my grandmother more than anybody else. My father's mother. She was always an early riser, and I always wanted to be like her. So you can thank my grandmother, my deceased grandmother, David Vine, and others. So anybody that ever steps into Black Lions domain and it's an early edition, know that I'm up and ready. Even if it's just I have to get in the shower real quick. So I am professional where I want to be. And speaking of professionals, hon, you look very professional. And when you told me your age, I am in awe of you. I'm in awe of you right now, hon. Let me tell you. You are the same age as my business partner and friend, Mayoko Fakino. And I celebrate you even more for being what you are and saying what you are. God bless you, hon, and God bless your hubby if you have one legit. Oh God, you don't look your age. You look like you could be in your early to mid 40s. God bless you, hon. Seriously.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Speaking of which, let's talk about motherhood. A good lot of my guests who have been female are mothers. So how has that contributed to your success overall?
Well, I guess I mean I've been in corporate for 30 years, and so my kids have grown up with me. We've had a good lifestyle, and then they go off and they they have peer groups then that are not quite where I brought them along on that journey, and so they have their own lessons to learn. That was one thing that I had to learn, was that my kids had to learn their own lessons, and then it wasn't my responsibility to step in every time. So now they're 23 and 28. I still have to learn to not step in and to allow them to experience what it is they came here to experience, and so then they can grow through their own journey. And it's not my journey, it's their journey. But just to be here as that solid person, that whenever they need me, that I'm actually here. So certainly with my son, he'd gone through I mean, all self-inflicted, but he did it to himself over a period of 10 years, and I had to wait until he asked for help. That's really hard for a mum to do, but but this was all my learning through thinking into results with Bob, that, I could have gone in and been the rescuer, but I knew then that people will fall back, and that, if you don't actually step up themselves. So I applied all my learnings from Bob, in how to deal with my son. And he messaged me for help, and he's come here and he's lived with me. And when he came, he couldn't see beyond his toes. He could hardly walk, the length of himself. And now he is literally a top sales guy in his business, and he's absolutely rocking it out the park. So it's testament to this knowledge, to, instead of using force and will externally, to use the power of your imagination and will internally, to see what you want to see, hold that vision in your mind, and trust. And then everything I've asked for has happened, and I just do it step by step, and the results are just, I remember even whenever I wanted him to have a job, and in my head I could hear him saying, "I've got a job, mum, I've got a job, mum." And when he turned around and he said that to me, "I've got a job, mum," and I'm like, did you hear what I was saying in my head? Like, it's just so funny. I mean, because literally anything I've had in my head would happen a week later with him. Sometimes it would happen the next day. And literally, I would say, out of the 12 lessons, and thinking into results, it was lesson 5. It was just unbelievable. I would practice it over and over and over. So for anybody who's going through any change, you've got to see it in your mind, first of all. And you've got to hold that vision in your mind. And then, because if you're using your mouth, you're trying to change what already is. Well, that's already past. And I think my children have taught me the most. And I realized that my children came here to help me be who I am, as well as me help them be who they are. But I've got to respect their journey and only step in when I'm asked to step in.
Oh, I love that. That's absolutely great beans, as I was saying. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Let's see what else. Oh, we've already talked about Bob plenty. Our dear friend Kimmy Pierre. Hello, Kim, if you're watching this or listening. How did you come in contact with her?
I absolutely have no idea. So we're always on the internet, aren't we? I mean, that's with everything, because you're constantly out there talking, and then we come across, I mean, most people, I actually don't know how I've met them, because, well, I'm not actually checking out where did I meet anybody. So we're all on the internet, and we've been on the internet for 2 years, haven't we, because of COVID. And so however it was, through Messenger, through Facebook, through whatever, I don't know. But Kim has studied thinking into results herself, you see. So we end up being on the same wavelength as those people, and we end up attracting each other because of the type of thinking that we have. And so, yeah, that's how it just happens. And then she's an electric energy, isn't she? So, and I'm a high energy, and it's literally we attracted each other.
That gorgeous British madam, she's something else when I think about her sometimes. Oh man, the 2 times best-selling author. She's worked with you. She will never ever shut up about you. You're the #1 person that's not her family, her biological family or dogs. She will woof woof about you forever, and I love it. I love it. So, Kimmy Pierre, if you're watching or listening to this one, don't
Well, she's
ever.
got a whole new business going on herself now. So she's a busy person with her own business. Everything has shot up in the last couple of months for her. Things are just happening in her life, which is absolutely awesome. I love it.
Oh, me too. And Kimmy Pierre, I'll talk to you more about it in private. Yes, I shall. Okay, so your actual business, hon, what do you actually do for people that are foreign to you?
So I mean, next week I've got a whole masterclass. So I'm giving out just value, literally 7 o'clock UK time next week. So I'll be across every single platform as I can get StreamYard to go across, and I'm going to be giving out value for 5 days. And what I will be talking about, where this information comes from, is from the Thinking into Results program. So that is my main work. I do have multiple streams of income, but this would be something that my heart is completely in. And yeah, I literally take people on a 3 to 6 month program, and help them make their annual salaries monthly, help people have babies, help people open their own ice cream parlor that they've dreamed of for forever. Kimmy's wanted to have her own pub. She's got her own pub. I mean, it's basically Bob teaches us how to answer this question. You tell me what I want and I'll show you how to get it. So what is that? You know, what is that for, you know, what is that for you? I mean, that's the thing, you know, it's like 7 books, but then there's more, you know, what is that? And it's really helping you. There's no improvement needed to be made in you or anybody. It's just releasing the weight of the crappy stories that you're telling yourself. And so through 12 lessons, you start to understand what it takes to have a successful mind, a successful life, and clarity and peace. Oh my goodness, peace, first of all, from that constant chatter in our head and the fear that we've been running in and the fear that we're taught through this life. It's to clear all that away so that you can start to see that everything you want is here. It's yours. You just have to ask for it. I mean, that's what it says in the Bible, doesn't it? Ask, believe, receive. It doesn't say work your backside off.
No.
Ask, believe, receive. And so when you can start going through your day and just enjoying every single moment, because even to make a cup of tea, I didn't have to make the mug. I didn't have to grow the tea leaves. I didn't have to heat the water. You know, just even something like that is precious gratitude. And when you can start to slow everything down, you can start to see.
Yeah, you're talking.
Then when you start to see, you start to get ideas. And then when you get ideas, you're on that frequency of those ideas. You start to attract the people who can help those ideas come to life.
Right on.
That's the journey.
Right on, hon. You're talking my language more in ways than one. And usually I don't do this quite so often, but yes, hon, yes. Yes, hon, yes. That's the absolute truth. That's the absolute truth. I always talk about gratitude these days, like how I came from nothing to where I am. And it feels like the more I talk about it, the better I get. And the more better I get, the more it's not even just opportunities, it's people. I feel as if I'm touching people more. Like I was talking to my beloved friend Blair Hayes like a few days ago, and how I've come along is amazing. How she's come along since even guesting for me once is amazing. Now she was a mother of 3 when she actually started off with me. She's a mother of 4. She was actually starting to release her, I think her 3rd magic book. And now we're at the end of it. She's practically almost in her 40s. What she's amassed, cool beans. But I've always said it out loud that what she has, to some degrees or another, I want, but I'm getting them. I'm actually seeing this. That I'm
you
like
can see it, you can have it. It's yours. It's just claiming it. Most people will see things and then go, that's not for me. You've got to claim it. You've got to claim it. If you see it, you're on the wavelength of it and it's yours. But if you don't claim it, somebody else will have it. Like this is a story of a girl who, this is about 3-4 years ago now, and she'd told me the title of her book, the front cover, all the chapter headings, but she didn't write it. She didn't publish it. And then 3 years later, she went to a network marketing event and she met a girl who'd written a book. Same title, same cover, same chapter headings. You see, ideas are running around looking for leaders, looking for somebody to claim them. And you see, what people do is, oh, well, that's not good enough. There's no way I could do that. So the idea goes off and finds somebody else. Or maybe you try and try and try, and then you go, oh, it's clearly not for me. Well, it'll go and find somebody else. An idea is looking for a leader that will bring it to fruition, no matter what. And that's when I heard that, that's just such an example of, it's not yours until you claim it and you make it yours and you do something, but it is yours if you claim it.
Oh, I've been claiming a lot in the last 2 years. And the biggest—
It's got to grow, doesn't it? The law of gestation is there's a period of growth, and a baby takes 9 months, a bamboo tree takes 5 years, a carrot, haven't a clue. But what is $1 million? How long does that take to grow? Well, who knows? Who knows?
That's true. That's true. And I want me $1 million eventually. I'm not getting up with that.
Make 1 million look small.
Oh yeah, I love it. I love it. That's like I love you, holy, my gorgeous Irish hun. Congratulations. You are the first Ireland-born woman to be on my show. I'm in awe of you. I thought you were literally from just like London or somewhere else in the UK. But Ireland, oh, yes. Again, yes, 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 yes. I love it. I love my interview segment. I love talking to the likes of you. It just makes me even more giddy and a 6 or 7-year-old inside that I am.
Now, be like little children. That's what's going to get results.
Oh God, you're making me more tingly on my back, hon. Oh God, the last woman that actually told me that she's actually happily taken, but I actually caught up to her in actual literary writings, or I'm close to it. I'm not saying any names. People should know who I'm talking about by now. Yes, and I'll just say these words. My unforgettable Polish love. That's it. Okay, Sheena Love, we've actually talked about every single thing that I actually wanted for you. Okay, and I'm still more tingly on my back. Oh man, what a great interview segment and way to go out with. All right, my beloved, you have business to take care of. With that said, the ending has changed because of Zoom and technical difficulties that occur sometimes. I had to rearrange my outro. So it goes like this now. Your hopes for the future, my beloved Irish 52-year-old, what do these kids would like to say now? MILF. Your hopes for the future are.
Say that again.
Okay, one more time. Because of technical difficulties, I had to rearrange my ending. So my dear 52-year-old Irish MILF that these kids will probably call you. What are your hopes for the future, beloved?
What are my hopes for the future? So they're not hopes, they're knowings. That's
okay, that's even better.
Yeah, you just know that everything's okay. Once you understand the source of supply for everything, then, well, why would you ever be worried about anything? Why would you ever hope? And you just go, you make a decision and you have what you want. So there's just, one of the things that I said that I would be traveling the world playing polo. Now, I've done that already. I've been to a couple of places and played polo, but I want to carry on doing that. And I'm going to carry on, putting out this material for people because it changes lives. It literally does change lives. And then, well, who knows? We have yacht trips, we have private jet trips, we have lots of things already, there ready to go. Oh, I'm going to America. I'll be over in America for 3 weeks. Finally we will get there because I've traveled the map in America for the last 2 years, because every time we think we can go, and then we're literally anyway, I'm going to be there next April for my birthday.
Ooh, where do you plan on going if you don't mind actually?
We're flying into Atlanta, I think, and I'm meeting a friend who's in Alabama, so we're going to Alabama. And I know she's going to take us to Florida, and she's got a whole load of places that she's going to take us to. So we're there for 3 weeks. It's going to be awesome. We had this trip planned for last year to go to Maine and Boston, but it was literally, the Americans wouldn't let us in. It was okay for Americans to come to the UK, but the UK couldn't go to America. So we were like, ah. So that was the trip before that. We were going to Vegas, etc., etc. But so third time lucky, we'll get our trip done.
Well, you can blame Donald Trump and one Joseph Biden for our actual troubles actually doing what is going on. So congratulations on being able to come back in here, America now, love. And Zachary Shiloh would actually love to meet you in person one day, seriously. All right, with that said, if not now, within the next week to a month, can I bother you for 3 people you think would actually, no, not think. I'm learning from you, honey. You believe would actually go great with me in this interview segment?
Gosh, I off the top of my head, I don't know. Let me think about it. Let me think about that one.
Oh, my beloved Irish hung. Let me hold you right now before I actually hit the outro. True outro. I'm asking for a week to a month, you silly hun. You don't have to have it right now. Not right now. So I love you humbly, my gorgeous Blunkins. Don't think that I'm rushing you. I had to tell that to some other wonderful Hunskins and loves that actually thought that I was asking for right now. Hence the term, not, if not right now, a week to a month. So don't think that I'm actually crucifying you by any means. I love you humbly. So within the next week to a month, do you think you'll have them for me?
I'm sure I can find a few people who want to come on, yes.
All right. And with that said, before we truly hit the outro, what can I, Zachary Shiloh, do for you, my gorgeous Blunkins?
Well, invite people along to the webinar next week. I mean, the first day is going to be punchy, absolutely punchy. And you can find me on Facebook, Sheena Cantar. It's not difficult. I'm the only Sheena Cantar on there, and on LinkedIn as well. And you can Google me, again, easy to find. And yes, 7 o'clock UK time next week, every night next week, you will find me live on social media. I can send you the link if you want, and you can put that up. That would be brilliant. The more the merrier. And I want people to come on ready to take action, because what people do is you make a decision and you think, well, I'll see how it goes. If you keep wondering how it's going to go, it'll not go. You need to expect. And why do you expect? Because you took action, because you made a decision and you took action. Then you can expect. But if you keep sitting wondering, well, we'll be here this time next year and nothing will have changed. I don't want that for anybody. So I'm going to pack a punch on the first night. I'm going to wake people up. I call them my love punches.
Honey, I'm in awe of you, and I keep on saying this to a whole bunch of women, but it's absolutely true. If you were not married, I think you'd probably be Zachary Shiloh's Honeykins, my soulmate, my friend, my pal. But I'm not giving up on finding the legit Zachary Shiloh's Honeykins by any means. I still believe in that energy. It's just putting a certain face to it. Legit. I'm not giving up on that dream by any means. And speaking of by any means, it's time to get out here. One goal, one aim, one road, one focus, your beautiful Hunskins and loves. And that's love. It doesn't matter how big or small you are. I love you humbly. I love her. I love the people in this house. I love all of you out there, the kids out there. And Black Lions Domain, don't think that it's sleeping, kids. It's still up and roaring. I'm getting people in December behind the scenes after recording 3 to 4 episodes, hyping Black Lions Domain for today with the lovely one from Ireland here. I actually found out that I'm getting like maybe 1 or 2 people. So the next episode will be one David Bond. Oh God, the things that we're gonna talk about makes me still laugh right now because of what's transpired, but it's overall gonna be a great time. And I'm lighthearted. So with that said, I will see you guys in the next episode of the General Flowtastic Zone, where love shines the brightest, and home of the Black Lions domain. Take care. Bye.